We've established kind of a baseline for the why of a wellness program. Now I want to get into the weeds a little bit about the how, and talk about logistics, how you administer your program, who administers it, how is it executed, how is it driven, how is it improved, Rob, could you talk about who does your wellness program at your company?
Well, we have a wellness committee. How we started with, we have a third-party company that comes in. They did all of our assessments. And the most important part of it to us was the assessments, because it's getting people to understand what their health really is. Do they have any risk factors? And getting an idea of where we as a company, as we look at through their coaching that they've had with their counselor, that we can offer the right services to benefit them. Next month we have a dietitian coming in and trying to help teach us about food labels and all sorts of things to try to give them an understanding of what, what we deem as healthy isn't really healthy. It was interesting, we had the vending machine company in and gave us their healthy menu. Until you read what's really in those, it's not, even the healthy is not that healthy. But so we use this third-party administrator, which has been a really good.
At the risk of giving somebody a free commercial, who is that third-party administrator?
Helix. And so then they have individualized coaching, and for each individual, so they can develop a plan for that individual. My whole focus, or our focus on doing this, it's really on trying to make subtle, simple lifestyle changes. We're not looking for this to be, some monumental changes. I mean, I'm not looking for them to go run a marathon or anything else. Simple little changes, the most importantly, to avoid some of those long-term healthcare issues, or unless they, to avoid some kind of catastrophic situation. You think about where we are today. If you don't go and get a regular physical, or you don't go to the doctor that often, you don't go until something catastrophic happens, and that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid the diabetes and the insulin shots, the high cholesterol medication, and all those types of things. It's simple little changes, and that's really what our focus and our approach with everybody is. It's little things that we want to improve on.
So do you have a wellness czar, or do you have a committee, or?
We have a wellness committee.
Okay. How many people are on it?
8.
Okay. Tina?
Similar. I am the executive chair of it, but we have a wellness committee. It's made up of 23 members, as well as my entire HR team. So we have a representative from each office. So big committee, but yet to get those messages out when you are spread out like we are is important that we're all speaking the same terminology. When we launched it April 1st, and we made a big joke about the fact that it wasn't an April Fool's joke, that we were serious about this. So we were coming up on our 1-year birthday party, and we're going to have birthday parties. But we tried to make a big splash of it as well. We launched it out at each location. I pretty much went out to almost every one of the locations to try to do the kickoff meetings. And we talked about how we wanted to keep it simple, and it wasn't just about weight loss. It was about the total being. And so we developed a point system, and on a quarterly basis, people can achieve points. Pretty simplistic. I'm all about keeping it simple. But it's not just from weight loss. It's from healthy eating, or it's from a spiritual side of things. It's from community service. It's from support of associations and organizations. And so people can get points for all of these areas. And my thought was I wanted to cast the net wide enough to start so that I got hooks in people. And maybe someone didn't come in for the wellness aspect right away, losing weight or whatever the case may be, but maybe they came in for something else. And eventually, over time, we narrowed down and made the point structure harder. And we'll continue to do that, eventually tying it into the HSA side. But right now, people, if they earn a max of 25 points each quarter, they can then submit their point sheets in. They get put in for a drawing and win a prize of $300 to $500. It's kind of a choice of their own. It has to be wellness related, and based on the city and state they're in, they can pick out a spa or something that is sort of along the health and well-being side of it. So that's kind of the structure of our committee. We meet monthly and keep focused on certain initiatives, and then try to do one big initiative as an organization each year. And our first one out of the gate, based on biometrics and health screenings, was to do a weight loss. So we are just in the final stages of weighing in, and for every pound lost, we are donating $1 to a diabetes foundation. So always try to have one big thing we can all get around, and then each other, state and committee member can do things in their local area.
Our committee was a little bit less formal. As a matter of fact, it was more volunteerism, and that's what we kind of set out to do. When we decided to start the program, I volunteered to kind of organize it and get it run, and then we basically went out to our agency population and said, hey, if you want to be part of starting something here, volunteer and help us build this plan. So I was thrilled to see that we had about 18 people volunteering to want to help build this plan. And we have a population of about, at this stage, about 200. So that's quite a few people, so we were really, really pleased with that outcome. We actually went out to the associates of our company and surveyed them to find out what they would be interested in, because we wanted to build a program that would have participation and be of interest. So we asked a variety of questions around various topics and found out that the three main areas that they were interested in were health and fitness, nutrition, and stress relief. And what was interesting about that is we are in a kind of a high, fast-paced deadline environment. So, stress relief is something that our associates need. And, in the days of Mad Men, it was the cocktails at lunch. We don't want that anymore. So we basically want to have them relax and enjoy health and wellness at the office. So we actually built our plan based on the survey in terms of what was of interest. And we had people sort of focus on areas that interested them of the 18 team members. So some people were more interested in maybe looking into nutrition opportunities, having healthy snacks and healthy choices at meetings. Some people were interested in health and fitness and going out and finding out, where were our associates currently, getting their health and fitness? What clubs did they belong to? Because we could go reach out to those clubs and see if we might be able to provide a corporate discount for them. In terms of stress relief, what kind of things would they be interested in? And we brought in some things like on-site massage. We have regular yoga classes, and we're looking for those opportunities as well. So really, it wasn't. Even though I talked about the importance of the support of the leadership, our program is more so bottom up in determining what our associates are interested in that will help them be healthy and have good well-being. But it is basically an employee-driven activity, and we meet on a monthly basis. We put together an annual plan where we outline goals. Our first year, we kind of went nuts. We went rogue and did a bunch of different things, just tried on things on for size. Some things were sustainable, some things were not, but it was fun to kind of experiment. It showed that we were serious about it and that we wanted to try different things. And now I think in our third year, we've become a little bit more focused. We're trying to do a few things really well. But it's a learning experience, and it's been a fun journey to try to figure out how we want to do it. But again, it's more employee-driven.
We actually do offer cocktails at lunch, so that's really helped with our participation. Actually, yeah. The afternoons are pretty much shot, but no, we like many of the others have said, we've kind of put into place a team of people across the different locations, and most of it is based through the HR department. So it's an HR manager, it's an HR generalist, it's somebody from the HR department that I sort of reach out to in most cases. Some of the locations have found somebody who's just interested in wellness and has volunteered to be the sort of champion for that site. And those are usually the best ones because they've got more of a personal connection and more of a personal interest in wellness and in bringing these programs out to all the associates. So we do monthly phone calls with all of those champions. Not everybody joins on every call, but we usually get probably 75% on a given call. Some of the locations are better than others, to be honest. Some have more buy-in from their local, I guess their GM or their plant manager at that site or their HR manager at that site may have more interest and more buy-in, and so they're more active. But we try to let them do customized things. If there's things that they want to do at their location that others aren't doing, that's fine. I try to support them in that. We offer typically 2 or 3 large company-wide activities every year. So right now we're just starting the weight loss challenge. So it's a 10-week challenge to lose 10 pounds. It's a pound a week. It's a reasonable amount. It's a healthy amount to lose. And then it's teams of 4. So we're doing that, again, that's Rexnord wide, so it's across the country. We just had our weigh-ins this week. And then we offer another one. It encourages people to get active in running and walking events. We call it the 5K Club. And for every 5K you do, you get a magnet. If you do a bigger event, you might get 2 magnets. It's kind of loose. But it encourages people to get out to support their community, volunteerism, exercise and things like that. So we do those company-wide activities, again, 2 or 3 a year, but then each location can kind of do their own thing. So some locations say, hey, we also want to do a walking challenge. I can give them the sheets that they can use for tracking. I give them a spreadsheet that they can put it all in, and then we can kind of track the participation. Lunch and learns are popular at some sites. Actually, just last week they had one, eat this, not that, and they brought in a dietitian to do that one. So we kind of let people do what they want, and I support them in that process, and then we try to do some company-wide things as well. But most of that does trickle through me. So you had asked before who runs it. As the health promotion manager, it kind of starts with me, and then I support them with whatever they would like to do along the way.
Alan?
And I was just joking about the cocktails, by the way. We don't actually.
So in the case of our company, the wellness committee started as me, and then Jeff, my VP, as the alternate side saying, are you really serious? That's what you're going to do? I read a book called Younger Next Year that coincided with my little revelation that I was not as prepared to ski with these guys that were older than me in a backcountry ski adventure. And the coolest concept is not about what you weigh or how you look, it's about what you can do, okay? So in the wellness world, if we're concerned about how we look, we can never get there. So I'm not gonna look like a 25-year-old guy, I'm into my 50s. But you know what? I'm gonna be a good-looking 50-year-old guy, and I'm gonna be able to do things in my 70s that people in their 40s can't do unless they get on it now. So this is the motivation behind our program, is trying to picture something out in the future, some event in your life that you want to do, and figure out, spend money on it, put it out there a year, put it out there 5 years. I'm going to go climb a 14 or someplace in Colorado, and here's where I sit now. I'm going to pay $2,000 for this trip, and I have to get ready for that. So that's the idea that we try to pitch to our employees from a physical aspect, but also monetarily. So if you're envisioning when I retire, I want this cabin in the woods and my boat, well, you know what? You're 40 right now and you haven't banked anything. How are you going to get there? So this wellness thing transcends all aspects of business. So now, I digressed. We've morphed from what Al wants to what the wellness committee wants. We work with 3 different groups of trainers: Salis, Lakeside Fitness, and Core Strength Academy. These individuals run our physical fitness aspects, and of course speak to us as we're doing our exercises in a group environment, where we really get to feel a sense of team and accomplishment. It's a great team building experience because we can see who's putting forth effort and who's not, and what their level of commitment is. We use Humana for our health risk assessments, and that's helped us modify our programs to a point where if we know we have a greater amount of people that are smoking than we ever imagined, we can introduce a program for smoking cessation. If we're dealing with a high level of people that their BMI scores, oh boy. If you want to stir the pot, print out a BMI chart and put it up on the lunchroom wall. Did that. Yeah. Right now, I'm overweight, just so you know. 25.5 right here. So, and I'm proud of that. So addressing the nutritional aspect of weight control is vital, because you can exercise 300 calories or 600 calories, and on my drive home, I can have a Coke and a candy bar and negate all effects of that. So nutritional aspects are really, really vital to your wellness program. And simple things, somebody has to take charge, go to your lunchroom, pull all the salt shakers off the table, throw them in the garbage, and make a show of it so people see what's going on. This bottle that I haul around with me like a security blanket everywhere, we've distributed these to our employees, and now they sit at their desks, and people can monitor their water intake. It's right there, so I can conveniently drink my water and properly hydrate, and it's a very inexpensive tool. So books, proper snacks, screening the vending machines, putting out fruit. I mean, this is very inexpensive, very, very directional approach that you can take to corporate wellness.